Dance. Dance. You can see that look in my eye. Ain't gonna stop anytime soon. Run up while I cry.
Here we go again. I mean, this is the truth show, and there's more. Oh, I know, and there's more. Oh, I'm not done yet. I mean, this is the truth show.
Hello, everyone. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Don't worry, my video isn't all about Pam Bondi. I just didn't feel like changing the thumbnail. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go with the flow here. But just to let you know, today's live show is just not about Pam Bondi. I do have some surprises later on in the live show. So we have a lot to talk about when it comes to politics. Trump's never-ending rant. I mean, damn, doesn't he just know when to shut up? It's never-ending, non-stop. He loves you remember, I can't even talk. You guys have to understand that Donald Trump is a serious reality fan. He likes reality TV. He likes being in front of the television. Okay. Yes, he's a Gemini, but he's also a Sagittarius, which means he likes to hunt. And they're never satisfied. But they're very stimulating people, cool people. I mean, very fun people, humble people in an untrustworthy, wild kind of way. But it depends how the person was raised. All Sagittarius are not the same. And he's a Leo. So you mix all of those characteristic traits into one man, you get Donald Trump. People like to say Leos are primarily a group of bunch who likes the limelight. That is not true. The limelight likes Leos in some cases. In most cases it is, but it doesn't mean they don't know how to work it when it comes. So he likes the spotlight, and he's neurotic. He's spontaneous. He's uneventful. He's wild, and he just likes talking, and he likes attention, and mixed out with insecurity and cognitive declining, dementia, narcissistic, crazy, and just learning disabilities. I mean, it's a lot of characteristics and diagnosis, and this is from psychology's standpoint and psychologist standpoint and therapist standpoint. They really examined him. They looked at videos, they looked at interviews, they went back and they really did a diagnosis and analysis on Trump and his characteristic traits. And a lot of them are literally aligned with one another with their diagnosis, which I've never ever heard of in my life. And we can't even get people to agree on historical facts. We still got people thinking that Egyptians were Arabs and European and Caucasian and just not black. So it was a bunch of Caucasian, Arab, whatever people running around Egypt, and they never got dark. And they used to wear braids and beads and bonnets, like we do now. If they believe that, that's a whole nother subject. Point of the matter is, this is where we're at when it comes to our political climate. We are literally in a mix of a reality show, a never-ending reality. This is all a game to him. He's going back and forth with the war. I'm hearing, okay, we need, 1 minute he said we need $200 billion. And he said, no, scratch that. We need $107 million. No, scratch that. Matter of fact, send me money so I can open Altares. Nope. I changed my mind. Screw that. Eliminate all Medicare and Medicaid. I need it for other things. Just randomly coming up with shit. I'm like, I feel like we're in the mind of a sociopath. It's a nightmare. I don't know how the Republicans can deal with it. Seriously. So we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about some celeb gossip. I may have to bring that into the play. And a lot of other news that you all probably didn't hear about. Absolutely. We're not going to dive all deep into celeb gossip, but we're definitely going to talk about it. Okay. So here are your other warnings while we get started. And don't forget to hit the like button and share. Okay. Thank you.
Please note that this is all alleged. I've never met any of these people. I've deeply researched all of my information. This is a trigger warning. In this video, I may be talking about or showing sensitive material about some subjects or topics that may be disturbing or upsetting or may bring forth some troubling memories, as you read in the description or title. With that said, either end the video now or brace yourself. Aside from that, enjoy.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so we are going to start off here with a deep dive into politics. And the headlines I literally got are headlines that I literally just put on here prior to coming live. So some of these news, news feeds have not been leaked to the media yet. Some of them have not been leaked to the media, and that's not unusual for me. I always get there before anyone else get there. And people are going to start talking about it 2 days later or years later in certain cases. But anyway, so some of the news headlines they just got released. So they haven't been talked about. So just remember, you got to hear first, okay? And trust me, some of these news headlines that I read are so far-fetched. Just prepare yourself, and it will be really helpful. I'm not sure if you guys are at work. I'm not sure if you guys are in the car, going to work or picking up the kids from school. I have no idea where the hell you guys are at this current moment, but just, be prepared, because some of these new headlines going to have you cussing at the radio or the TV or your phone, because Trump has lost his mind. I'm just going to put it on out there. He has lost his freaking mind. Okay. And if MAGA supporters are in it and they're, listening to me now, so sad for you guys, kind of. But y'all got screwed in both holes. I'm in 3 holes with women. Y'all got screwed. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and put that on out there. Okay, so let's start off with this here. Okay, let's start off with this ridiculous proposal here. So it says that President Trump has just unveiled a new budget proposal that will cut government spending on most programs by 10%, while actually increasing the amount of money set aside for defense and the military. Even though we don't have a clear indication of the status of what's going on in Iran, we just getting upcoming news and breaking news from Iran, from the leader of Iran, who's giving us the reality of what's really going on. Trump is just saying whatever pops in his mind. He's not telling us the truth. Or we got to look at BBC, or we got to look at other news media outlets that's not controlled by Trump, because the American outlets is controlled by Trump, and he don't allow them to say anything bad toward him. If they do, he's suing them. That's been like the trend. So I guess they just buckled under pressure for the time being. I don't know how that whole political legal mess goes when it comes to Trump threatening media outlets for talking negative about him. But anyway, so it says here that he wants to do a cut of government spending on most programs by 10%, because he don't need them. Him and his billionaire friends, they rich and chock-all of, big baller. So they don't give a fuck about the peasants and, the inside workings of the 90% of the demographic that's in the machine, making the machine work. They are literally just 2% of this regime, but they seem to think they run it all by themselves. You will be rich without the normal demographic. So while they're still thinking they operated with their magical fucking powers and their money or whatever, no. You can't cut Medicaid. You cut Medicaid, what's going to happen to people's health? Okay, or their families or whatever. They're not thinking. I don't know what's wrong with these rich people. It's like they're stupid. Seriously. And people keep praying to God. The fuck you praying to him for? He doesn't care. But that's a whole nother subject. All right, moving right along here. So he wants to cut government spending, not his billionaire friend spending. He want to cut government spending. Notate that, okay? By 10%, while actually increasing the amount of money set aside for his defense and the military for this war that we don't have an actual status on. Under this plan, so-called, he said, discretionary spending. So it doesn't have a specific reason. It's called discretionary spending, which includes things, this is what he says, so things like education, public health, housing, environmental protection would see major cuts. So these will be cut. So pretty much the function of America that makes America great, he wants to cut it out for his defense and military, for a war that he started. That's his fault, that we don't have the actual status on. So he want to cut all it out. The functioning machine in America that makes America great, which continuously should work in order for him to remain president. Okay? If it wasn't for the education system and the public health system and housing system and all the other programs, his staff right now would not be his staff, because most of them weren't born rich. They didn't come out of someone's pussy hole with $1 billion in their hand. Like, oh, let's, buy the world. I mean, no, I doubt that very fucking much. So while he's talking about cutting the hub of our society and our demographic, okay, for this unstatus, unknown, not sure what the status is war, is completely crazy. Okay, so he's trying to cut that. That's what he's trying to cut. Make sure you guys understand that. So meanwhile, the Department of Defense and related agencies will get a funding boost. Supporters of the plan say it's about prioritizing national security and reducing the government overall spending. Critics, however, warn that these cuts could hurt everyday Americans by reducing funds for servicing that millions of people rely on, from schools to safety net programs. The proposal is expected to spark heated debate in Congress, where lawmakers from both parties will have to decide what gets funded and what doesn't. In short, Trump budget is about shifting resources toward the military while tightening belts on a wide range of other government programs, setting the stage for another big political battle in Washington over the nation's priorities, which means any priorities that he feels that are priorities, not the actual priorities that should be priorities. Okay, that's literally what it is, just to sum it up. In other headlines, Todd Blanche takes on DOJ's top job and the burden of Trump's expectations. It says here, this is Todd Blanche, he's another Trumpster. Let's talk about this major move in the world of law and politics. Todd Blanche, a well-known attorney, has been appointed to one of the top jobs at the Department of Justice, the DOJ. That's the job that your girl, the Bondi woman, had. The one who thought she was the shit. No one could do better than her. She was on cloud nine. She was the shit. Okay? They tried to warn her, but she didn't listen. Oh, it's funny. Anyway, so Blanche is now taking on the high pressure role overseeing, which means he's going to be better at covering up. No itsy bitsy leaks of Trump doing vile things to underage girls. The rape accusation where the person he raped inserted something in his rectum, and that caused his intestines to go off balance, and he has to wear a diaper, and the rumors about him and underage girls, and he fired her because of that, those few leaks, of course, and he was pissed off after he got out of court when he didn't get his way about the funding of well, you get the gist. Remember, he was trying to take away American citizens' rights. He wanted to have the power of American citizenship. And the judge knocked him down and told him, okay, I don't see how this is going to help Americans. What's the plan that you're coming with? And he think by showing up in court, the judge is supposed to be very, very frightened. My guardians, please watch over this judge and her house and her belongings. And that didn't work. So it was told he was very angry, and he left very angry. And then next thing you hear, we hear that he's firing Pam Bondi. But there is more to the story of him firing Pam Bondi. It's not just on him firing Pam Bondi. It's all the things that's surrounding that news being leaked. Okay. So we have Blanche. She's going to take on a huge, job here, overseeing some of the nation's most important legal cases, including those directly involving President Trump. They said former President Trump. I wonder if they really meant to say that. Blanche's new position comes with huge expectations, especially from Trump and his supporters who hope he'll help manage or even resolve the complex legal challenges facing the former president. It was also, well, we get into the whole Pam Bondi situation in a minute. I have a lot to say about her. As Blanche steps into the role, he'll be under intense scrutiny from all sides, balancing public trust, the Assistant Department reputation, and the wishes of powerful political figures. So his billionaire friends, that was involved in a lot of illegal things, making sure they're okay and not just sitting back and not doing anything like old Bondi was doing. You want to make sure someone who can go with the flow and don't care about the law and able to twist the law and, and do very illegal behind the scenes and just immoral things. That's what he's looking for. And Bondi, she was like, I'm just not going to do shit. She didn't do anything illegal other than how she redacted and cover up the Epstein files in terms of covering up the villains and predators and, trying to hide them from those Epstein files and then deleting a lot of files as well, just to make sure Trump is not, exposed, but certain documents and reports did get leaked and he didn't like that. But Bondi, she just didn't say anything. She just didn't do anything. She just didn't do anything. She was terrible at her job, but now I'm jumping ahead here. So that's what that was. So he needs someone who can be more, twisting and criminal like him, that thinks like a criminal. I don't know anything about this man, honestly. I don't know anything about Todd Blanche. I don't know what kind of lawyer he is. I never followed his career, so you guys let me know in the bottom. So observers say Blanche is respected for his legal skills and toughness, but with this job, he's taken on a big burden. Not only does he need to guide major DOJ decisions, but he also faces the pressure of living up to Trump's expectations during a time of ongoing investigation and court battles. He also got to know the full spectrum of his job. He's just not Trump's attorney. DOJ is America's attorney. So he has to oversee his legal things and making sure justice is served, And I don't know if he's a man with morality. I don't know. Oh, hell yeah, he did. He definitely did. We know he cheated the system. Absolutely. Hi, Kimberly. Good afternoon. Y'all the only 2 comments. Seriously, y'all know I get a lot of comments in this thing. I'm used to it by now. I need to change the font here. It's not readable. Let's see here. Oh. Let's see here. What should I change it to? What about this? No, that's good enough. Anyway, so in short, Todd Blanche's new role at the DOJ places him at the center of some of the country's most high-profile legal and political fights. And all eyes will be watching to see how he handles the job and the weight of those expectations. I'm down to know, too, because I don't know who he is. I never heard of him before, so I guess we'll be learning together to see if he's a man who's about as criminal like as Trump, or does he have some morality and some integrity? I don't know. I guess we'll have to find that out, okay? All right, then we have, remember I told you about this Alcatraz? Yeah. So Trump is making headlines with a new proposal to reopen Alcatraz, the infamous, the man is living in another century, the infamous former federal prison located on the island in San Francisco Bay. The administration is asking Congress for $152 million to bring the prison back into operation. We all know why he wants this goddamn Alcatraz single island hell venue, so he can torture people just like he's doing in those detention camps with the Americans, because most of the immigrants are Americans, but they call them immigrants, but most of them are Americans. He wants somewhere remote like the Epstein Island. You know what I'm saying? So he's asking the Congress to give him $152 million to bring this prison back into operation as a working federal facility. Now, the plan is being pitched as part of a broader effort to crack down on crime and toughen up the federal prison system. He got a lot of nerves to be acting like he gives 2 flying figs about is he deluged or something? Because he's the goddamn criminal. He need to put his ass in Alcatraz while he's pointing his finger at everybody else. It's amazing that people judge other people, but they can't look in the mirror. I mean, let's be realistic here. You know, old Trumpster is a criminal. And if anyone needs to be in Alcatraz, and him and his little pedophile rapist homeboys will be him. While he's trying to open it up, trying to buckle down on criminal. Are you blind? You got 34 indictments. You are mentioning Epstein files more than God and Jesus in the Bible. Okay? And it's not to mention all the other sick things that's got leaked, like you killing people on the spot, lining minors up and sticking your you know what and then you know what. Okay? I mean, he's been doing this little nasty criminal-like crap leading all the way back to the freaking late 80s. So anyone who needs to be locked the hell up or in a straitjacket or worse would be him. I don't know if he seriously deluded himself into thinking that he's an innocent man and it's his job to go on criminal. Is he? No, he's not trying to buckle down on criminals. He's trying to buckle down on truth seekers and talkers and intimidate them. This is not about justice. It's about covering up his dirty deeds. That's what it is. You said he can open up just as long as he fills it with regime and he stays. I know, right? I know, like seriously. I can't believe this fool. So this is what the supporters of the proposal argue, that reopening Alcatraz will send a strong message about law and order. You know, this will send a strong message about intimidation. Because you don't need a criminal in charge of, you know, bringing criminals to justice. I mean, seriously? Are you freaking kidding me? Okay, so it's like bringing meat to the sea or leaving sharks in charge. Don't get me started on a comparison. That's the most idiotic and stupidest thing I have heard in my freaking life. And no, hell no. I can't even get through this whole damn mess, but I'm going to go ahead and do it right quick. So he's trying to send a strong message about law and order and could ease overcrowding in other prisons. How about you reevaluate some of these criminals' cases? Because a lot of them are fucking innocent and they're in there and their sentences are freaking ridiculous. How about you let them go? 10, 15 years for what? Marijuana charges or armed robbery or some shit? I mean, seriously? Start evaluating some of these goddamn cases and let some of these alleged criminals go, unless, you know, I'm done with the whole subject. Anyway, so he claimed it could ease the overcrowding in other prisons. Critics, however, question whether the cost is justified and point out Alcatraz is now a major tourist destination and historical site, raising concerns about disrupting the island's current use and environmental impact. If it approved, it's not going to get approved. Nobody opening that shit. He better go stick his ass in Alcatraz. It approved the move will mark the first time Alcatraz has housed inmates since it closed in 1963. You understand the timing? He's still stuck in civil rights times. The man has lost it. The debate is just the beginning, but it's clear this proposal is sparking strong opinions about crime. Like, seriously, his whole entire crew is criminals, but we're going to go ahead and ignore that little piece of sweetheart information for now. So, but it's clear that this proposal is sparking strong opinions about crime punishment and the legacy of one of America's most famous prisons. He wanted to open a prison that has not been opened since 1960. He's still stuck in the civil rights times. Something's wrong with him. It's like his brain is stuck in the time warp. He do know it's 2026 and we came a long way. Why is he? I mean, it's They really should research that, because this is starting to get kind of ridiculous. He's stuck in the. Never mind. I'm in a headache. Okay, so this plane here. Oh, goodness. One crew member rescued after U.S. fighter jet shot down in Iran. Officials tell this reporter. Okay, so Associated Press. We have breaking news, apparently. Let me put my breaking news thing up here. Let's put it on up chin. Let's put it up chin. Okay, we have breaking news. Okay. From the Middle East, a U.S. fighter jet has been shot down from Iran. According to officials, one crew member has been rescued. Just one. I don't know how many people was on the plane. We'll find out right now, because I'm literally leaving this, not leaving, but I'm literally reading this news report live while I'm talking to you. So we're learning this live right now. I just had it summarized and I'm reading live. Now, according to officials, one crew member has been rescued after the incident, but details about the fate of many other crew members have not been released. The downing of the jet marks a serious escalation in ongoing conflict between the U.S. and Iran, raising fresh concerns about the safety of American forces in the region. You mean raising? It should have been already there. Officials say the incident happened during the heightened military activity, and rescue operations were quickly launched to recover the crew. While one person is now safe, the situation remains tense as military leaders assess what happened and what to do next. Now, the U.S. government is closely monitoring the developments, and more information is expected as the story unfolds. Now, this event highlights just how dangerous the situation has become and reminds us of the risk faced by service members during times of conflict. Duh. We need to look at Trump. He didn't want to start this stupid war, him and his little warmongers. Now, the world is watching to see how the U.S. will respond. I'm not going to respond. Now, Trump president, he'll give a shit. He still haven't responded to the tragedy in Hawaii. You know, Hawaii is a part of the United States, but he hasn't responded to that either. He don't fucking care. So the world is watching to see how the U.S. will respond and what the next steps will be in this escalating crisis. Trump don't care. He's not going to do a damn thing. So he's going to hope that it doesn't spread and this news doesn't go trending. That's what he's hoping. But in terms of getting some justice and some, I don't know, some remorse or some condolences behind this, he don't care. And if he does care, it's going to be pretending, because his party probably told him just to get out there and say something, but it's not going to be all about them because it bore him to tears. So it has to be a little bit of information about him. No, I'm sorry, about them. And the rest has to be about him. He don't care about any news unless it's all about him. News got to always be about him and him only. He get bored when people talk about themselves. It has to be about him. So he would probably mention them in mix of his bashing, you know, about himself, his gloating about himself. But he don't give a fuck about that crew or the people serving in the military and the army, and he don't give a shit about them either. Shit, he don't fucking care. And if they don't know that, it's sad. They need to go on strike. I mean, have military men ever went on strike? It's time to do that now, because I won't be fighting for this food. All right. And did we have microplastics and pharmaceuticals named a priority threat in drinking water by health environmental officials? Now, this is important, ladies and gentlemen. You probably want to definitely pay attention to this, okay? There's growing concern among health and environmental officials about what's lurking in our drinking water. Recent studies have identified microplastics and pharmaceutical residue as a new priority threat. Remember I told you the money that he's spending on this unnecessary war at Sleep Ballroom and having his kids have a black card and having them free liberty to buy whatever. He got his kids with black cards. He spent all that tax money like crazy. He has some of his crew, like the prime members of his cabinet, all with black cards and spending tons of money. Matter of fact, we just had one guy leaked when he spent money on games and all kinds of unnecessary shit. Literally, he got his homeboy spending all of our tax money and no one's saying shit about it. All that money he's spending on these unnecessary things could go, like I said, on our roads, our schools, our environments, and not to mention better filters and systems for our drinking water. We don't even have that. They're so fucking old and corroded. You know, Biden was trying to do that. He actually ran a program, him and Harris, on changing out all the lead pipes in most communities. That's why his jobbing percentage was increased, because he made it a little bit easier for construction workers to get jobs, because there was literally trading out the lead pipes in the inner cities because they were still running on lead pipes, which, you know, definitely affects a person's climate and ability to learn. And it gives them learning disabilities, which is what they were trying to do during the civil rights times. They were trying to dumb the inner city colored people down as much as possible. He was changing up the pipes. Now, I'm not sure if that job got officially changed. I have no idea, but I know they were trying to do that. I don't know the status of that. I haven't checked it in a while. I did a live show a while ago when it was going on. I even put a video out, but it's been a while. I'll try to find it and I'll link it in my post. So yes, just to let you know, and this probably don't affect a lot of people. I mean, I don't know who my viewers are. I don't know who's viewing me, but They have identified microplastics and pharmaceutical residues as a new priority threat. The public health has. Now, the microplastics are tiny fragments of plastic that come from things like bottles and packaging and synthetic clothing, while pharmaceutical residues come from medicine that end up in our water supply after being flushed and discarded. So officials worry that these contaminants are turning up in the water systems across the country and around the world. Remember that guy who was trying to turn our plastics into fuel? That could have definitely helped with the ecosystem and our environment. But you had his competitors making sure he never succeed, despite the fact that it would have definitely helped our environment. If we were able to take our plastics and turn it into oil, that would definitely help our environment. I would have definitely jumped on that if I was an oil supplier. But people are just do stupid shit. We pay for electricity. We didn't even have to pay for electricity during the well, you get the gist. Okay. I was gonna say Tartarian days. It was free energy. But anyway, so while the long-term health effects aren't fully understood yet, experts believe that ongoing exposure could pose risk to both people and the environment, because traditional water treatment methods often can remove these particles completely. Government agencies are starting to push for stricter regulations, better water filtration, and more research. Now, the message is clear. Protecting our water means tackling these individual threats head on before they become worse. Officials say it's time to take action, both by improving technology and encouraging the public to dispose of plastic and medications responsibly to ensure everyone has access to safe and clean drinking water. Just like they do in other places. I hear China's trying to do that. Japan is trying to do that. They're trying to filter out the water system as best way as possible, because we still, using an old, filtration system, and that needs to be changed. It needs to be updated. This is where our money should be going, not on selfish, stupid shit like our president is trying to do it with. He's trying to cover up for his pedo rapist friends and his billionaires as much as possible, making sure they're happy, and screw everyone else. Screw the machine, just keeping them on top in general. I mean, your foundation breaks, you will fall and crumble, but he don't see the foundation is ever breaking. He think he's on some non-breaking, I don't know, bulletproof, bomb-proof platform. If he only fucking knew. Okay? So former airman pleads guilty to scamming the military out of $37 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. A former U.S. Air Force airman has pleaded guilty to a massive scam that defrauded the military out of $37 million. Prosecutors say the ex-airman created fake companies and submitted fraudulent invoices for goods and services that were delivered to the military. Over several years, he managed to get millions in payments by tricking the system and using the money for personal gain. Sound like Trump. Authorities discovered the scheme after noticing suspicious transactions and launched a thorough investigation. The former airman now faces serious criminal charges and will be sentenced at a later date. He must be a Caucasian, because he was a black person that would put his face up here. To make sure he was colored. I mean, they would have done that, seriously. So this case is a reminder of the importance of oversight and accountability in government spending. Okay? And it highlights how fraud can have a major spending. Well, let me back up a little here. It highlights how fraud can have a major spending impact or a major impact on taxpayers and military readiness. The military is now reviewing its contracting procedures to help prevent similar scams in the future. They should. They need to look in Trump's financials too, and his kids, and the members of his cabinet. Okay, here are some random topics. Now, remember, I'm trying to get you guys to understand the financial poverty and the situation we are right now with our taxes. Okay, and you need to know what the Republicans are trying to do with our taxes. It's starting to get barbaric and freaking sick. Okay, and then she's going to tell you a little bit more what Trump is trying to do with our money. Remember, I told you about the Medicaid and things of that nature. He's trying to cut for this unknown status and war that we didn't want. Yeah, yeah. And then this young lady here I follow, who's very intelligent, she's going to give you insight of Iran, who's speaking to the citizens, not Trump, but the citizens, because Trump is lying about what the status is. So she's going to give you insight about that. She may prolong, get to the goddamn point, but she gets to the point eventually. So listen to what she has to say.
The next page, anyone making less than 15,000 sees that. Check this out. I thought this was a mistake. I thought I was not reading this correctly. An increase in their taxes of 74.3%, and from 15,000 to 30,000 of 20.6%. Is that correct? You guys make a mistake?
No mistake in the numbers.
People at the lower income brackets are getting screwed over by a Republican majority that doesn't give a damn about them. I'm somebody that was supposed to not go to college. I ended up working at Subway and Target. I had zero health care. You would tell somebody in my place, the billionaires deserve the most help. You all want to increase taxes on people making under $30,000 a year? That's the most insulting thing I've ever heard in my life.
Trump has just made a move to seize the entire U.S. economy and put it under his control. He is asking for $1.5 trillion for this war. That is a number our brains cannot comprehend. And in order to do that, he has to cut everything. Medicaid, Medicare, childcare, Social Security, SNAP benefits, WIC benefits, every social program that we rely on in this country. I'm not talking about the so-called programs where people are taking advantage of the system. I'm talking about the programs that every single one of us relies on. You cut Medicare and Medicaid, and our entire healthcare system collapses. And I have no confidence that the Republicans in Congress will stop him. This is an unprecedented move. No president has ever asked for a number anywhere near $1.5 trillion to fund a war, and he is just going to take this money and put it directly in his pocket, in his friends' pockets, and in his children's pockets, because he's already been doing that this entire time. He's been giving government contracts to his sons, to his friends. It's our tax dollars. And this is an unprecedented move that will destroy the American economy and the United States as we know it. This will cripple our citizens. Call your senators and tell them to grow a freaking backbone, because we now officially have a dictator.
I want to talk to you guys about this letter, right? The letter that the Iranian president has issued out to the American citizens, to the United States citizens. Number one, it was to the United States citizens, not the United States government. Mind you, the United States government has been pleading for weeks now, for about 2 weeks, to have conversations with Iran, and Iran has denied it each and every time. They came to us. That's a red flag. So already before even reading it, I'm already like, this is not a good sign. After reading it, I'm like, oh no, this is definitely not a good sign. Now, y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, right? But my understanding, my perception of this letter is that this is Iran's last attempt in them defending themselves, explaining their stance, and also issuing out the truth to the United States citizens. This is their last time trying to explain everything to us. And when I say that this is their last time explaining to us, this is their last time explaining before everything that's about to go down actually goes down. Because once that starts, right? Once that phase of this war begins, Iran will not have time to explain to you all, United States citizens, why everything is going down the way that it's going down. They are giving us this last opportunity to basically accept the truth at our own discretion. The way that Iran organized that letter, they said everything that they needed to say. Everything that they needed to say. They started off with their history, highlighting that they have one of the oldest civilizations in history, and that throughout their entire history, not once have they ever initiated a war. Iran's president stated that throughout the entire existence of Iran, that they do not have one moment in history that supports or provides evidence that Iran has ever supported or condoned colonialism, destruction, domination, has initiated any war ever, that they have imposed imposed any type of sanction that has impacted the civilians of any nation. They broke that down. Unlike the United States, After stating that historical fact, Iran in the letter states that portraying Iran as a threat is neither consistent with historical reality nor with present day observable facts. And in the letter, they say all of that to explain how is it that your government was able to successfully run this propaganda about us, Iran, starting the war when we don't even have the history that supports that we are capable of this, that we do this. They are trying to make you, the American citizen, who is supposed to be the reader, understand exactly what's going on. A country that has never, throughout its entire history, who is older than the United States, has never initiated a war, yet the United States was able to successfully spread propaganda about this country and this war. Let that sink in. In the letter, they then, Iran, explains to everybody that the Iranian people have no hate towards the American citizens, towards any European, towards anybody, to be honest, right? That they, right, in their government has always made the clear distinction between government and the people. You understand how that distinction is deeply rooted in principle and collective consciousness, something that we don't have here in the United States. He pointed it out. That statement was not only made to disgrace and shame the United States government, but also the citizens, the active citizens that elected these people into these positions. And then right before the letter ends, you're now at the point, if you're reading it, right? You are 3/4 into the letter. Iran poses the fundamental question, exactly which of the American people's interests are truly being served by this war? Was there any objective threat from Iran to justify such behavior? They're asking you, the United States citizens, what did they do to deserve this? What can your government, the American government, say to justify such actions? What did they do? They're asking you, the American citizens. They want you guys to open up your eyes and see what the fuck is going on. All of these actions that the United States government is implementing, is imposing, on whose interest, on behalf of whose interest are they for? Iran stated multiple times in that letter that they will defend themselves, and they are defending themselves, that they will not stand down. This letter is their last attempt in explaining their position to the United States citizens before what goes down actually goes the fuck down. That's it.
The next page, anyone making less than 15,000.
Yep. So it looks like Iran is giving us one last chance. Let's just hope that our Congress, our Senate, whatever, can go ahead and do their job and get rid of Trump before things get a lot worse. But consider their history of being naive and stupid, I doubt that very much. All right, so let's move on here. We're going to talk about this woman here. We're going to talk about the Bondi. Oh, Pam Bondi here. Let's talk about the political energy this week. Has been interesting. Pam Bondi, yes, the Attorney General, was abruptly fired by President Trump right before his scheduled congressional testimony, and the timing, the behavior, the messaging, it's definitely raising eyebrows. I mean, this is literally timed perfectly, especially for Trump. And Pam Bondi thought her job was sealed, thought she was doing everything she's supposed to do. She was the shit. She thought nothing can withstand her. She was just perfect. She did everything she was told. We tried to tell her, but she didn't listen. She thought her shit didn't stink. So I don't care about nobody, man. He don't care about himself, seriously. Anyway, so what actually happened here? Well, Pam Bondi was fired suddenly during a late night White House meeting. She reportedly asked Trump to reconsider. She did. She asked Trump to reconsider. He said no. She posted a public message thanking him. Yeah, she posted a public message thanking him, you know, and highlighting her accomplishments. She's supposed to be staying for 1 month for a transitional period. Trump says she's moving on to a private sector. And yes, she is still under subpoena to testify before Congress. So yes, he got her saying that she's moving on to a private sector, which means he's just keeping her stringing along, long enough so she won't start talking. Hold out hope. I'm just drinking some juice. Holding out hope to make sure that she knows how her bread is buttered. That's what he's doing by promising something that he would never fulfill. But, she's not even think that. Anyway. And then, so everyone is asking why the Congress is involved. Well, Bondi was already under scrutiny for how she handled the Epstein files, but she was scrutiny by the Congress and the victims and us as the public. Trump was only pissed off because a couple of his stories that was about him got leaked in those Epstein files. He was pissed off that she didn't do a good job covering him up or any other billionaire, pedo, rapist, crappy, freaking criminal that's in his cabinet. That's the only reason he was pissed off. Okay? Not because of, justice wasn't certain. He don't fuck about justice. He making sure he's in the clear. And not only that, he was also pissed off that Bondi wasn't able to make a legitimate argument, and he ran his little dictating mob boss gangsta ass to the freaking Supreme Court, trying to intimidate the judge into voting that citizenship bill he was trying to freaking pose. They threw that shit out along with that voting and then the mail about voting thing. They threw that shit out too. So that's what he was pissed off about. Like, why didn't you stop that? So lawmakers from both parties said they were frustrated with her delays, contradictions, redactions, and the overall transparency of the release process. So the Congress subpoenaed her, and firing her does not cancel that subpoena. She needs to be disbarred because she's in a seriously disgrace for attorneys everywhere. And it's still a question how the hell she get her degree anyway and her license, because she flunked it several times. So all of a sudden she get connected with Trump, and all of a sudden she get her license. Shouldn't it be checking that? Same thing with Melania citizenship and her green card, which is bullshit. She's in America illegally. And I believe Pam Bondi law degree is not legitimate. I can almost guarantee it. So, the Swalwell angle. Now, this is fact. One reported reason for her firing, the White House believes she tipped off Representative Eric Swalwell, about upcoming FBI documents releasing involving him. Now, Swalwell denied it, but the allegation created internal tension and it added to the pressure Bondi was already under. Now, we get into the whole Swalwell criminal ass and a whole nother subject, but he's a criminal too. Remember, she wasn't covering up the criminals completely. She got, they claim she got a little power driven or something, and she let some, pedophiles and rapists and criminals stories get leaked, and they're upset about that. So the billionaires is pressuring Trump, and Trump got her fired because she didn't cover up their little pedophile, creepy, rapist ass diligently and perfectly, so they get rid of her. So he needs to find someone else who can do the criminal activity and covering up his criminal people a lot better. Just to sum it up, okay? So the timing question. Now, here's where people are paying attention to timing. Okay, right before a testimony during controversy over the Epstein files, the administration was trying to control the narrative, which they have been trying to do throughout this whole investigation and the release of the Epstein files. Making sure Trump's name is not mentioned too much, making sure he stays clean, because he literally deluded himself thinking he's innocent and he's trying to go after the criminals. No, he's trying to dictate anyone who goes against him so he can control the narrative, and you have to bow down to him in order to retain your freedom in this country. He's acting like an old age, medieval, evil ass fucking king, sick psychopath that you read about in the Bible. So anyway, after a year of public contradictions and political backlash, this is where we're at, like the timing of all of this, as I just stated, because she wasn't ruthless enough when Trump decided to get his fat ass and drive down to the freaking courthouse trying to intimidate the judge. He was mad because she didn't yell at the judge, and he got mad because a few of stories about him got leaked and his little pedophile rapist homeboys got leaked. So he's a little pissed off about that, and the other fact that she's a woman. I mean, let's not forget about that whole piece of sweetheart. Okay, and then we have the private sector promise. Trump says she's moving to a private sector. But here's the thing. that's a political soft landing, not a confirmed job. Private sector is literally just a safe answer, but it does not, I don't know, it does not concern an actual job. It's just something you just say. It's like when people say, I'm fine. Fine is a quick answer because you don't want to get into details. Well, 98% of the time, when people say they're fine, they're not fine. They just want to talk about it, or they just, no, that sums it up. They just don't want to talk about it at the time. They don't feel like getting into details. But when people say they're fine, they're not fine. Fine is just a quick answer to come up with. Okay, so this is what private sector is. Okay, and if she's dumb enough to believe that he has a job for the private sector, she's stupid as fuck. Now, I thought she was naive, but I'm going to land on she's just stupid. Just downright freaking stupid. So this soft landing and not a confirmed job, administration often do this when they want someone to exit quietly without spilling all the beans, which he has every power to do, and I'll be spilling all the beans. You know, fuck the bullshit. And I wonder, now that she's not attorney general, she won't be in a month, do that still give her, you know, Secret Service men? I'm just curious. Does her Secret Service men get eliminated as well if she's not attorney general? Or is that something attorney generals still get even after their job is complete, like a president or something, or a vice president or something? I don't know. I'm just curious. So people are saying that, you know, they're wondering a lot of things here, and this private sector promise is literally just to offer a quietness, a smooth transition, and give her hopes for future opportunities and keep the person calm before a sensitive moment like her, you know, getting ready to testify before Congress. You know, making sure she know how her bread is buttered by promising her a position in a private sector. And if she believed it, she got to be the most stupidest person on the planet, because it's literally a common political tactic. It don't prove or proof of anything. It's just a pattern we've seen before. Or I promise her a private sector job. You know, we got a little something for you. We got something for you. I got something else planned for you, Pam Bondi. And she thinking like, okay, sure. Give me a break. Okay, so what can't we say? What we can't say. Well, listen, I'm not here to speculate about motives, emotions, or what anyone is really hiding. I'm speaking of what's verified. Now, we're not jumping into theories. We're not assuming guilt. We're not making claims that you know, what was about the redacted files or what wasn't about the redacted files, or whatever the redacted files can bring up in debate. We're staying grounded here. Okay, I want to jump into too many theories, but you guys know where I stand with this. Okay. So again, what we can say. I told you what we can't say, what we can say. Bondi was fired abruptly. Timing is definitely suspicious, and I'm glad she is fired. She needs to be disbarred and she needs to go to jail. She's still required to testify despite her being fired, because this is a subpoena and it's by the court, despite her position. Congress is still expecting her. Her handling of the Epstein files created political fallout because she was covering up criminal activity. And the time of her removal is raising questions across the political spectrum in terms of sexism and manipulation. Although everyone's happy as fuck, but we're still, you know, raising our eyebrows and asking, interesting. So far, he's firing women, which is not unusual for Trump. He has no respect for women anyway. I don't even know how a woman in her right mind, like Rosanna Chili Thomas dumbass, can even, or Amber Rose, what the fuck her name is. I don't know how them two dumb broads can vote for the fool. I mean, he has no respect for women. I can understand Nick Cannon, who thinks he's a pimp, but anybody else in terms of a woman, how can you look yourself in the mirror and vote for this man? Because he has no respect for women. He made that abundantly clear throughout the entire time we knew Trump, that he has no respect for women. He thinks women are good for one or two things: to please him. Matter of fact, let's just say it serious: to please him, to stand next to him, make him look good, and other sick things that I can add to that whole list. But mainly to service him. Let's point that out. Not to service themselves. He don't believe in freedom speaking women. He don't believe in powerful women. Powerful women annoys him. He is a very sexist, biased, dictating piece of shit. And I know that's a bit brash, but I'm just being honest here. Okay. So here's her takeaway. So here's the takeaway here. Now remember, this isn't about theories. This is about time, behavior, and political pressure surrounding a very sensitive set of documents. Bondi testimony is still coming. The subpoena still stands, and the political world is watching closely. Now we'll see what happens next, and you know all about it because I'll definitely break it down to you and keep you posted. Okay? Here are some clips.
For Klimt because I think I should sing like a bird.
Okay, this is when you guys come into effect and tell me that it was not playing and you guys didn't hear anything. Y'all didn't say shit. Very, very insulting, but nothing new with my bullshit ass channel that I'm really thinking about just getting rid of, honestly. But anyway, I'm going to play the video again. I did not know it was playing. You guys didn't tell me anything. So that means you're not really listening to me. I don't know if you just got the phone down and like, I'm just going to give a review or whatever. Just sign off. Don't even bother staying on if you're not going to listen. Just sign off. I don't care. It's not worth it. I'm going to play the video again.
I'll show that washed up reality star who's boss. Somebody get my lawyer ASAP. We have work to do, okay? Unlawful termination when he promised me that he would take care of me. Do you want to know why I have to shout so much? Because Donnie has dementia, all right? I said get my lawyer, and I don't want anybody else to tag me anymore on these posts about the Dow being over 50,000. I get it. It's under 50,000 now, all right? And now he's going to replace me with Lee Zeldin. Lee Zeldin went to school at SUNY. That's not even a real school, okay? And guys, I just know that this dementia patient... I need my lawyer. I perjured myself for this man, and I need to understand what my rights are and what's going to happen here when I get replaced, because I'm just a bit verklempt because I think I should sing like a bird and tell everybody what I know, what I've seen in the Epstein files, because his name appears more than Harry Potter's name appears in the entire series. J.K. Rowling, wonderful person though. This will not be the last y'all have heard of Pam Bondi!
We have some news right now. That's Pam Bondi's photograph at the Department of Justice thrown in the trash. That's already happening right now at the DOJ. This picture was obtained by Carol Lenning from MS Now, an exclusive. They did not like her at the Justice Department. Career officials did not like her. They literally threw away her picture less than one day after she was fired. Pam Bondi is now back to Florida. She is no longer the acting attorney general. She's still technically at the Justice Department for about a month or so as she transitions to Todd Blanche, but this is what they thought of her. Spread the word, follow for more.
Wow. Love it. Now it's time for Trump to leave. Not just freaking Pam Bondi. We freaking need to. Okay, in random news. I know that was hilarious. In random news here. You guys heard about the Artemis fake moon landing nonsense? I mean, I can't believe you guys still believe in this nonsense, man. We did not land on the moon. This is a firmament. We under a firmament. Firmament is a solid object over the planet. We're not going to the moon. Anyone believes this still is still stupid. Okay, so here are spree videos proving that fact. Okay, now please notate he searched his in a different browser. Google is so freaking corrupted, man. They stealing from me left and right. So trust me, other browsers are better. I propose using other browsers to search for the truth in fucking Google. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on out there.
Let's watch the most recent SpaceX rocket.
So here's the video right here. Sorry about that.
Rocket launch. And at the end, I want you to tell me if you really think these rockets are going to outer space. Check it out. Takes off nice and strong, fire thrusting out the tail end. It's like, man, this rocket is really going to go to outer space. Or is it? Because we know what the Bible tells us, how God created the heaven and the earth and placed a firmament over the earth, waters above. Keep watching. You know, you have to really give them props, though. They keep trying to break through this firmament. Doesn't ever really seem like it works, though. Once again, these are my theories. I believe what the Bible says. You guys believe what you want. I'm just trying to show you what looks like a rocket breaking through the firmament, or at least trying to. All right, check it out. Here we are. We're getting close. And we're almost there. Oh, look, what happened? It stopped. And it blew up. It hit the waters above, not going any further. What's that look like to you?
I asked the question to Google, and I said, is the Artemis 2 rocket that supposedly went to the moon today on April 1st, 2026, is it going into the direction of the Bermuda Triangle? The answer said yes. The Artemis 2 rocket launching from Kennedy Space Center on April 1st, 2026 follows an easterly trajectory that takes it over the Atlantic Ocean, a path often associated with the general region known as the Bermuda Triangle. For people that know why I'm making this video, the rockets, okay? I'm not gonna say too much, but Bermuda Triangle, rockets, Bermuda Triangle, rockets. The trajectory of the rockets going sideways instead of up, going sideways instead of up, always going on a curve and coming back down. Bermuda Triangle, rockets, Bermuda Triangle, rockets. Okay, God bless you.
The Artemis mission to the moon isn't actually landing on the moon. Here's why. For the first time in more than 50 years, humans are heading back towards the moon. But before NASA actually tries to land them on the moon, they have to make sure that everything works. That means testing the Orion spacecraft, its systems, and how the human body handles deep space. The astronauts will fly around the moon, travel farther from the Earth than humans have done in decades, but will not touch down, because landing is the hardest part. NASA is planning that for a later mission, Artemis 4, when they plan to put astronauts, including the first woman and the first person of color, on the lunar surface. So this mission is about proving it's safe, that the spacecraft, that the systems, and that the crew all work as planned. So if this goes well, it opens the door to going back to the moon and eventually building a moon base.
Sure. Let's go ahead and believe that malarkey. Sure. Anyway, I don't even care about this dumbass, fake-ass moon landing. All right, let's talk about something deep here. Have you guys heard of the Eric Valencia case. Well, she's going to break it down in great detail. This is some crazy, sick crap. We need to really talk about this seriously. Take a look.
We're taking a side quest today, folks, because we're going to talk about Eric Valencia, the man who was found in the back of an Azusa, California police car dead. And in this video, I'm going to show you my evidence that not only do I believe that this was a murder, but they are covering it up. Help me get this video out there and to his family who need answers. So Eric Valencia was arrested for DUI on March 20th. Because it was a weekend, he did not get out until March 23rd. He was released at 2:30 in the afternoon, and he is seen exiting out of the front of the police station in his jail uniform too, which is red flag number 1. They don't just give those out. You turn them back in. Now, he was not found until March 26th in the back of this police cruiser. And I want you to see the video and see if you notice anything weird about it. Because I'm going to prove to you without a shadow of doubt that this was doctored. Now, the Zula police are trying to claim that this car was out of commission, and that's why nobody noticed for 3 days that he was back there, when not only his family reported him missing just hours before he was found, and they're trying to make it seem like he just climbed in the back of this car on his own accord and just died back there, even though he, quote unquote, had a working phone on him. Take a look at this screenshot and tell me what seems weird to you. Well, maybe it's the fact that these are clearly 2 different videos sliced together. It doesn't even line up correctly. And y'all notice how uncharacteristically smooth the front of this car is compared to the other patrol car next to it? Well, maybe it's because if you look very carefully at the beginning of this video, you see that he clearly was sitting down and stood up as if somebody in this car beckoned him over, and he is clearly talking to somebody. You can even see shadow shifts on the passenger side of this vehicle as he's talking. I also need you to take note about how you can see him in the reflection of that. And you'll notice he didn't try pulling on any of the other doors, just went straight to the back one, as if somebody offered him a ride. Doing my thing, I took this flag picture, found it at the front of the police department, and right there is the camera. Right here are where the 3 patrol cars were parked when he got into it. The police department is claiming that it's normal for them to just park the cars in front of the police department for days while they are waiting for them to be commissioned or fixed. Except what do we see right here? A 3-hour parking sign. So you're trying to tell me that it's normal for them, when they're waiting for days for the car to be worked on, to park in the 3-hour parking section in front of the police department instead of the completely gated parked area right next to the area where they washed the cars. Remember when I said that you could clearly see his reflection in that window? Weird how when they found him, the passenger window is open. And y'all see how this is car 37 and this is car 34? Well, it's weird that when he got in the car, it was car 45 that was parked next to him. Or at least that's what they want us to believe, because where are the lights that are on top of it? Where are the lights? And weird how this topper looks just fine, but it's warped and stretched over here. And isn't it funny how you can see perfectly into that windshield, yet this one is all smooth and fuzzy, just like the front of the car. Oh, and one more thing. Here you can clearly see that the window is closed all the way rolled up, right? And yet when paramedics arrived, the window was slightly cracked. I know with everything going on right now, it's so hard for us to focus on our own communities, but this right here is something that we can do. This is something we could do because I think there is an absolute psychopath on that police force. You thought I was done talking about Eric Valencia, the man who was found in the backseat of a police cruiser dead in Azula, California? Absolutely not, because I think I have found more evidence. And while this is all alleged and my own opinions, I talk in part 1 about how this is clearly a sliced together video. You can literally see the seams. Right now, we're going to talk about the video where Eric was found. And I want you to listen very carefully to the explanation they give.
His body was found 3 days later after his family reported him missing. He was discovered by somebody who was about to wash the vehicle.
All right, so his body was discovered because they were going to wash the car at 4:30-ish in the morning, except on this body cam, which is time-stamped, he is the 4th person to arrive, so that's kind of weird that we're not seeing the body cam of the other people that showed up. But then when he's walking around the car, look at it's wet. So either it was raining, which there seems to be no evidence of on the sidewalk anywhere, or this car was washed before it was called in. Next, let's take a moment to just analyze the footage of him being found, because we don't actually get to see the moment where this officer approaches the vehicle and discovers the body. Oh no, because like I pointed out before, when Eric got into this vehicle, these windows were not rolled down. No, the video that we get to see starts out with him opening up the back driver's side door. Now here's where they messed up, because you can see in that crack in the window, he clearly put something in that car. That thing, I suspect, is Eric Valencia's cell phone. Because look at where he's standing. What would be reflective that crosses over his body? Sure, maybe he's taking a picture, but he decides to take a picture before actually calling anybody, because you'll see he closes the door and then he calls someone. Look at it again. Something crosses over the shadow of their body with a big reflective screen, seemingly thrown next to him. Then they look around and pull a dark phone out of their pocket to call someone. Next, let's take a look at the shape of the back of these cruisers. Why is this one a box? Why are we able to see the rear part of this car better than the full-on daylight picture? Why is the hood and the windshield reflecting the street lamp at night, and yet here, there's no reflections going on at all on the car? Why are we unable to see the rest of this tire shape? And watch what happens when I overlay the cars on top of each other. Because remember, this is from the same camera, thus it is fixed. See how I lined up the 37 perfectly? So in theory, it shouldn't be any different at all, right? Yet really pay attention to the front of the hood, how the angle of it moves, thus proving that the car had been moved. And let's be perfectly frank, I'm not showing anything obviously, but right where that circle is where Eric's face was. He was sitting straight up. If a chest-high body cam can see this guy's face, then how is it that not one, but two different police officers, because there's two different cars parked next to it, just walked past it? And in the body cam footage, they say that he was in decomp, which if anybody knows anything about decomp, it's smelling horrendous. It is an unmistakable smell. In my opinion, there is no way that for 3 days, nobody noticed a person in the back of that car. You want to know what I think happened? This guy, the guy who found him, who's inexplicably wearing sunglasses at night, and whose face just happens to be blurred in the body cam footage. Yeah, I think they were pissed that the DA declined to file charges against Eric, and I think they were angry about it for some reason, because I think it's pretty clear to see that he did not have his cell phone in the bags of his possession. I think someone offered him a ride home because he didn't have a cell phone, and in order to teach him a lesson, they just went and parked the car somewhere for an hour or two, not realizing that he was an alcoholic who was dehydrated and thus passed out and died quickly. And all of the rest was cover up from there. And it wasn't until after the family called and reported him missing that they realized, oh, somebody's actually looking for this guy.
I am speechless. There's definitely some sketchy crap going on. I completely agree with her. That is some serious, yeah. This is how I'm feeling right now. Freaking confused. That's crazy. Crazy. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Oh, and just to give you a bit of brain news here, he's going to give you the inside information that I pretty much preached over years, if you were even paying attention, about Jesus and his absence and what he was doing. I did maybe a couple videos explaining what Jesus was doing during his absence. He's going to pretty much say what I said years ago, but maybe you'll listen if he says it.
Jesus didn't disappear for 18 years. He was being educated and trained by masters. From ages 12 to 30, the Bible goes silent. But two controversial sources claim to reveal the truth: the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ and the scrolls from Hemis Monastery. And here's what they say: changes everything. According to these accounts, Jesus, called Isa, traveled east. He studied in India, Brahmin priests, but he rejected their caste system. Then he moved through Nepal and Tibet, learning from Buddhist masters about compassion, karma, and enlightenment. In Egypt, he studied ancient mysteries, unlocking a deeper spiritual power and hidden knowledge. So his absence wasn't a disappearance, it was preparation. By the time he returned at age 30, he was ready, because now he was carrying wisdom from multiple civilizations, a message far bigger than religion. These years were not forgotten. They were intentionally left out of the Bible. Why? Because Jesus was too knowing, too worldly, and too mystical. If they had included Jesus's worldly education, the entire focus of the Bible would have shifted from Jesus's divinity versus his humanity. That would have killed the church's mantra of instilling fear and obedience.
Facts. Haven't I been saying that? Facts. Yes. Facts. I've been saying it for years. All right, so moving on to celeb gossip here. Yeah, let's move on to some celeb gossip. Yes. Let's move on to celeb gossip.
You're blinded by them. You need that.
Yeah, don't you just love that? I love that. This is me with that, seriously. Oh gosh, I need to quit. Okay, so all right, here is I just went ahead and put this girl video up here because I get tired of looking at those freaking what's this called, these items here, blind items. I just don't want to do that anymore. I'm not getting paid for these videos, so I'm like, I'm not putting all this work in these blind items. So I just put the videos here and they can save themselves. They can pay for it, not me. Okay. So here it is, blind items. And then we're gonna move on to Brittany and her kids and her being nasty sales for her nasty ass private in front of her kids. She needs to get her fucking head shrunk. Disgusting. But you know what? She doesn't know what normality and limit is. So we're gonna ignore her crazy ass for now. And then we're going to talk about Lamar Odom, how Lamar Odom put Khloe Kardashian through a lot of hell, and how I pretty much broadcasted this almost 10 years ago of all the drama and stuff of that nature and how crazy she was for dealing with all this bullshit. You know, how she did lie about not having and not wanting kids because she didn't want to have kids by him, which I did broadcast myself in the video about her. So, and I broadcast this 9 years ago. So just imagine the threat I was 9 years ago. And then we just go from there.
Here are the confirmed blind item reveals from Wednesday, April 1st. Number 1, if you've been following the blinds, this breakup isn't surprising at all. The foreign-born celebrity offspring / reality star and her partner have been messy for months now. This was kind of inevitable. I think we all saw this coming. And this is allegedly Kelly Osbourne and Sid Wilson. Number 2, so why is nobody calling out this A-list NFL quarterback? He's dating someone who waved a weapon around while yelling slurs, partied with a convicted R-wordist, and multiple exes accusing her of abuse. And on top of that, he's been seen around some seriously shady people. How is he getting a pass? The silence here is interesting. And this is allegedly Joe Burrow and Olivia Ponton. Number 3, the elevator puncher is once again not exactly in mom mode, letting her son be used for publicity. But the bigger issue, the people around him doing all of this have felony backgrounds. That's not a great look at all. And this is allegedly Solange Knowles and her son, Jules Smith. Number 4, this foreign-born A-/B+ list actress dropped around $3,000 just to stage a fake fan / paparazzi moment, so it looks like she's constantly being mobbed in public. Apparently, it came off pretty ridiculous. Imagine paying for fake hype. And this is allegedly Priyanka Chopra. Number 5, this Mormon wife definitely would not pass a substance test right now. That whole storyline got messy real fast. And this is allegedly Taylor Frankie Paul. Number 6, the only reason that lawsuit got settled was to keep a certain alleged predator from ever having to testify in court. That says a lot without saying everything. And this is allegedly the Bank of America and Leon Black. And number 7, there are rumors of at least 4 other teens who are now dead who were previously involved with this video rapper. People are even questioning what kind of content was being made. This one is truly disturbing. And this is allegedly David, aka D4VD. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow me for more celebrity tea.
On another episode, Where the Fuck is Britney Spears? Guess who's back? Back again. Britney's back. Tell a friend. And quicker than I could keep up with what was going on, the caption also changed quickly. I'm flying, Jack. I better stay present whenever I can. I should disappear for how slow they went on that boat. I can still dream, folks. Then it changed to same caption, but P.S. It's been 5 years, just saying. 5 years since we've had the real fucking Britney. Tell me I'm wrong? I don't fucking think so. Yeah, everything's totally fucking fine.
Britney Spears has lost her mind. This girl was running around here with a thong bikini on around her goddamn grown-ass, hormonal, horny-ass fucking sons. I can't deal with this. This is not normal. This is even not abnormal for rich people. I mean, I guess you could be a little bit detached from reality if you've been performing and singing since you was knee-high to a grasshopper and you don't even know what normal and whatever is, and her brain is so defragmentized for being drugged up so goddamn long. I mean, he was drugging her every goddamn day. Seriously, you think P. Diddy's lost his fucking mind? She's detached from me. I'm surprised she's not Amber Bynes yet, but she's damn sure in that same neighborhood. I'm just gonna go ahead and just, you know what, whatever. This is sad.
After watching that Lamar Odom documentary, my heart absolutely breaks for Khloe Kardashian. That is one strong woman. Do you hear me? And that woman was obviously Lamar's Odom guardian angel. When I tell y'all that entire documentary had me clutching my pearls and holding on to my seat, and baby, I ain't even got no pearls on. Do you hear me? Let me just say this. It was not what I thought it was going to be. He probably needed to shoot it from a different point of view because it showed him in a light that I would have never imagined, okay? Y'all, Khloe Kardashian is very genuine. She absolutely loved that man with all of her heart, and you can see it. If you ask me, he took advantage of her from day one, right? He only wanted to be with her because of her name and her fame. The fame that he could not get from being Lamar Odom, the fame that he could not get from him just being a basketball player is what he got from being with Khloe Kardashian herself. When I say that she saved his life because his daddy was willing to take him out for a couple dollars, that man still have not said thank you to that woman to this day. Now, initially when he came out the coma, his excuse was he couldn't say it because he couldn't talk, right? He couldn't walk, he couldn't do nothing. He had to learn how to do all of this all over again, and she stood beside him while he went through all of that, right? But throughout the entire documentary, this man never once took accountability for his actions. The only thing he just kept saying, well, I've been through this, and baby, we all been through something, but nobody go around treating people the way you did that woman. You absolutely owe her your life and more. I'm just going to leave it as that, y'all. The documentary is on Netflix. If you have not watched it, it was very thought-provoking, mind-blowing. It was a good watch, y'all. 10 out of 10.
I haven't saw it, but I already know the drama between those two. I mean, I was researching their drama a long time ago when they were calling Khloe crazy, but she was crazy putting up with his crazy ass because I wouldn't have done it. Especially if I had her money, her influence, and her looks. I wouldn't have her put up with that shit. I understand how the Beyoncés and the Cardi B's and all the rest of these naive women put up with the stuff they put up with the power they have and the looks that they carry. I don't understand the naiveness and the stupidity. It's not even naive anymore because they're not old enough. They're too old to be naive. They're just stupid. You know what I'm saying? They're not financially connected to someone when you have no financial, choices to move on independently. You're financially connected to someone, like I am, unfortunately. So therefore, you have to put up with some shit. These are millionaires and stuff. Damn, they're billionaires. She was young. I believe, from what my research is back in those days, she was barely out of her 20s. And she got married. And they weren't even together that long, and they just got married. He was very experienced, and he already had interactions with drugs already. Him and his little friend, homeboy, who death is really serious, freaking suspicious, but that's another story. But yeah, definitely. I know about it. I mean, I used to be a huge fan of the Kardashians back in the day, and I used to really report a lot of their stories throughout the years, and I stopped. I got into other interests, but yes. So I already know what to expect in that documentary. I'll watch it when I'm not doing anything. Maybe if I'm in my room and I'm just chilling or whatever, I'll watch it. Or if I'm cleaning the house or something, I'll watch it. But other than that, I'm not in a rush to watch that documentary because I already know what's going to entail already. You know what I mean? Because I already know. And I keep telling you guys, that Kardashians, I think they're just non-human people. Yeah, they may be plastic or whatever, and they lie about their plastic surgeries and stuff. But they're women, they're humans. They put up with a lot of shit from these dudes. Just like Kourtney put up a lot of crap when it came to Scott Disick, his cheating and drunkenness. She put up a lot of his bullshit. Kim Kardashian, well, she put up a lot of shit too, from Kanye West to Humphreys to whoever. You know, she put up a lot. It's just that Kim Kardashian don't put up with them long. She just dropped your ass like, okay, I'm just done. I'm not putting up this bullshit. That's Kim Kardashian. She don't do like her sisters. She be like, you just gone. Damn you and the horse she ran in. That's Kim Kardashian. But her sisters, they tend to linger on for a longer amount of time, you know. I guess they probably got it from Kris Jenner, because Kris Jenner is known for putting up a lot of crap too, especially when it came to the Caitlyn person, you know, him, you know, his transition, how he used to treat her. I used to watch him back in the day, and he used to treat her, before he turned into Caitlyn, he used to treat Kris Jenner like crap. There was episodes where she was standing there, and she's from old school wifey mannerism and decorum. You know, like the mannerism and decorum, like Queen Elizabeth may have done, where your husband is treating you like shit, but you still have to remain some kind of decorum and integrity. Pretty much the time frame you see Beyonce, who was taught from her mom to always remain some kind of dignity in public, even though you want to cry and just go in the corner and just scream or something, but you're in public, so you have to smile, you have to pretend everything is fine. But I've seen him, Bruce Jenner, yell and talk down to Kris Jenner like she was a piece of shit. And she stood there smiling like everything was fine. I remember Khloe caught a heap to that. And she was like, I can't believe you put up with that stuff. You know what I'm saying? She's like, whatever. She brushed it off. And not to mention, putting up with her little narcissistic, evil-ass fucking kids. You know, the way they was bruising Kris Jenner, dragging her down the stairs, hitting her, talking to her like shit. And she still got to put up with them and still put them first and still make sure their money is right and make sure the empire is good and all this other crap. Have we seen the Kris Jenner's perspective? Because she was barely 19 when she got married to their father. So people should look at the whole picture when it comes to them. Yes, they are narcissistic. Yes, they are plastic like most Hollywood people. But at the end of the day, they're human. And they have to put up with some bull crap too, just like everybody else. And I think that's where we need. It's just in the relationship perspective, I believe that's when they're the realest. Now, when it comes to vanity, they fake as fuck. Okay, I don't trust them with a 10-foot pole. But when it comes to relationships and how they deal with their men, I think that's where the reality comes in at. Their heart is always sincere. That's where it's real. You can tell the way they take care of their kids, the way they support their husbands and their boyfriends, and how their husbands and boyfriends take advantage of them, where they can't handle the limelight because the light is too bright, and how they deal with it and stuff of that nature. I think that's when you see the realness of the Kardashians when they are in relationships. Now, when it comes to vanity and the storylines and the businesses, you probably want to, be a little skeptical. But when it comes to relationships, that's when they're real. That's where I come in for the analyst of the Kardashians. Other than that, and their family bonding. I mean, I admire their family union, how they stay together. That's beautiful. I think that is great. I think they're doing Robert Kardashian really bad. I think they need to amp up their discipline from this boy. Letting him be on his own and making it seem like he knows what's best is bullshit. I think they need to amplify the disciplinary. If not get a conservatorship, but be more strategic and even dictating when it comes to Robert Kardashian. He needs to go on a diet. He needs some serious counseling because there's no father figure around him. Okay? He needs to join some kind of communication where his skills are unified and used in a positive format so he can feel important. That's what I feel he needs. Let him do his own thing and let him be submerged in his thoughts and his darkness is not helping. Not just from my standpoint of view of my psychic analysis, but that's what I think they need. They need to put more importance on their brother because he is the only male. Aside from his, nieces, nephews, and things of that nature, and members that got linked to the family through marriage or relationship or kids or whatever, he's still the only male Kardashian. So I think they need to amplify their connection and empire with him. They need to branch out a little bit and stop making it so female powered. That's my perspective on it. Other than that, I mean, the Kardashians just like any normal freaking family. I mean, This is Age of Aquarius. We're going to see authenticity. And unfortunately, we haven't found anything about them we haven't heard already. So be prepared to hear more inside details from the Kardashians, because you were just saying in the beginning, I'm not trying to publicize them or anything. I'm just keeping it real. Other than that, I'm out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye.
We see you. We see you. We remember. We remember. I am the storm. I am the storm. I am the silence. I am the silence. I am the truth unveiled. I am the truth unveiled.
Yourself. Yourself.